Oh wow, this place looks nice.
What happens to us?
We die too.
Do we die too?
We die too.
We'll all die someday.
I don't want to die.
And when everyone's gone, even the gods will die.
We don't want to die.
I don't want to die.
Senua, stop.
Senua,
Turn back.
Stop. Stop her.
Why would she stop to die? She would stop. Stop.
Well, girls, you know what they say.
I don't want to die.
Can't
I'm sorry.
stop me
I didn't
now.
ask you to be a part of me. If you don't want to die with me, then leave me alone.
I don't want to die. Please.
Do I want to go through this or around it? I'm not sure.
Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. You'll never come back if you go there.
There is nothing to go back to.
We only have each other now. Don't abandon me.
Everyone suffers. They were right about me.
Listen to me. Not them. They were afraid. Like children scared of the dark.
So was I.
They made up monsters to fill the void. That doesn't make them real.
They made them real.
No!
Follow your soul and let go of the Senua of old. For there lies your weakness, and the darkness will find it.
Well, hopefully she made the right choice.
It's not like the old stories, is it? The noble warrior facing evil in search of victory and honor. Clear dividing lines. No. Oh, this place is not quite like that. It's as if it knows that true torment lies within. Memories you cannot defeat, cannot escape. This is her hell.
So what you're saying is, hell is other people. It's all the runes I saw throughout the game, and then some.
Turn away, Senua. Turn away, Senua!
Do you see it, Senua? Do you see the darkness? Faces fear and suffering. You can see it.
I remember it clearly now.
She has nothing to fear anymore. The gods have saved your mother. Through my hand.
You killed her.
It is the will of the gods.
Fuck the gods! You did this to her! Why?
This is what happens when you listen to the voices of the underworld. They crawl into your soul and rot you from the inside. Defy the gods like your mother, and the darkness will come for you too. You understand, son?
cursed me with your own madness. I was just a child. You created this darkness! You created this darkness so you could hide behind it!
Only suffering brings salvation. It is the way of the gods.
It was all a lie. You are a lie! She didn't defy the gods. She defied you. And so you killed her.
You didn't pray to the gods. You prayed to your mother. Your mother, who was too weak to fight the darkness and abandoned you.
You tortured her. You killed her. You are the darkness.
Those rituals, the years of isolation, the pain that still haunts you. It was the only way to fight the curse within you. The darkness is inside you and it will destroy you.
You're a liar!
No, Senua. The darkness is here. You cannot wish it away. And it will watch as you draw your last dying gasp.
I won't let you kill me.
Wow, I had no idea just how much I was understating how much of a douchebag Senua's father was when I just called him a prick earlier. He is prick supreme at the very least, if not Captain Commander of the prick armies. Okay, I took out that first enemy immediately, at least I think I did. For a second there I thought this was gonna be a gimmick thing of, oh, the enemies are a lot quicker to take down here, but nope, it's the same thing as always. Out of one combat into another. At least there's some pretty cool visuals going on here. That helps change up things a little bit. But yeah, actually these enemies do seem like they're a little bit weaker. Like just a bit overall squishier, which I'll take. Means they take less time to kill. Oh, and wow, this looks so cool with the blade mode active. So much good screenshot potential, but I'm not gonna bother with photo mode now. Not now that I'm so near the finish. Come on, put up your guts so I can knock you off. Oh, jerk. See what I mean? It's such a pain in the ass to actually knock enemies off of ledges. I wish it was easier to do. Alright, before I use focus, I'm gonna try and build up a third charge. It might be difficult here though with all of these enemies surrounding me. Okay, just gonna use one of my uses here. If I keep being too sparing about using them, I'm never gonna get through this. Plus, it's pretty obvious I'm meant to be using this all the time at this point. Something I wish I had realized earlier. It might have saved me some trouble with some of the combat sections. Oh well. There's always my second playthrough for me to be more efficient. And I will say, this is a pretty cool spectacle. It's rare that you see a game that's this slow-paced and measured.
Darkness. You're a liar and a murderer. And if you really are Hela, then I have a sword here that can kill a god.
Provide this much spectacle.
Run forward, moving backwards to wallow your miserable past. You're making a mistake searching for Dillion. The same mistake that killed him in the first place.
Okay, I'm clearly moving on way too quickly here. I can't believe I keep doing that. I gotta stop running. They don't expect me to do that during any of these sequences.
I'm trying to save you from yourself. You said that it is a lie. The plague of darkness, the butchering of Dillion by the Northmen. You saw it yourself.
You told everyone I was cursed. They believed you. I believed you.
Tell me, Senua, where is Dillion's soul if the darkness is alive? How you save him?
He's here. I know he's here. Dillion, I know you're here. Hold on. I'll find you.
Oh, it's the Raven from before. Well, now they're reusing earlier bosses. I guess that means they don't have any new enemies for me to fight. At least not until I take down Daddy Dearest. Oh dear, the issue is I've kind of forgotten what this dude's moveset is about. And it seems like he's in his late stage variant, yeah. He immediately starts off balls to the wall. That's right, it's mostly multi-hit combos. I want to dodge the first and then perfect block the second, right? Or just, you know, use focus and kind of annihilate him. Okay. Now it's Gom time. So yeah, it's just gonna be a whole boss gauntlet, it looks like, with it cycling through all of the previous bosses. Pretty smoothly, too. I like how, Valravn transitioned to Gom pretty nicely like that. I wasn't actually sure what was happening at first. Not to mention, with this weird sort of skeletal, almost, outline thing going on, it looks pretty cool. Oh, and they're just shifting all the time. This is actually a really good way of reusing old enemies, is to have them shift between each other. Oh, and we have a Kappa Demon over there, it looks like. That's the first time I've seen an enemy like that. That's not the fire dude I was fighting before, was it? Because I could have sworn he looked a bit different. Alright, fighting two bosses at once. That's how you know I'm near the end. Oh, now I get two fire gods to deal with, okay. I'm a fucking blender. You think you can deal with me, mate? Oh, maybe you can. God, these are some gorgeous visuals. And I really love how the game has completely committed to never having a HUD or UI. there were never even any tutorial prompts. The only out of game world stuff is the subtitles. I've never actually seen a game do that as fully as this game has, and it's actually pretty damn impressive.
Daniel! Where is he? You're trying to trick me again with your lies. I know he's here. You took him from me. You have him.
Dillion is gone. Dillion is dead. Let him go. I'm warning
Or what? What can he do to me that you haven't already? Fight me. Come on.
Time to deal with Daddy Dearest. I've been waiting for this moment. Oh, but of course he's gonna summon a bunch of chumps first. Gotta pad it out somehow. Oh wow, a lot of chumps.
you. You betrayed your own father. You betrayed the gods in search of Dillion, in search of love. Look where that's got you. Let go of the battle. Let go of redemption. Let go of Dillion. Don't let your darkness hurt anyone else.
Whoa, camera kinda freaked out there. Wasn't sure who exactly it wanted to lock onto. I wonder if I can actually attack Daddy Dearest right now, or if I have to take care of his minions first. Because I might be able to go for him. Maybe they only exist here for you to build up the focus. That is a possibility. Ooh, okay. A lot of visuals going on there, couldn't exactly figure out how to avoid that.
Behind you.
So many enemies here. Oh, this might not go well. I've almost built up a charge, I think. I just need to dodge a few more attacks. And get a few more parries. There we go. For now, I'm gonna try and cut through the crowd with this focus. And if that doesn't seem to be doing anything after a while, then I'll see if I can't attack Daddy Dearest. You know what? Let's see if I can go after him right now. It's probably worth confirming that sooner rather than later. I can't seem to actually lock onto him. I'm tilting to the right, but it won't actually go over to him. So I'm guessing I can't actually harm him just yet. Yeah, nope, that does not seem to be an option. Okay, fair enough. God, I don't like when he makes everything shake and cause all those extra effects. It makes it really hard to actually tell what's going on. And not in an especially good way. Sometimes the disorientation that this game does is pretty cool, but other times not so much. Yeah, like right there, just being kind of stunned, and even if I could react, not being able to tell what's going on, not the best. Oh! Well, at least I found out before I beat the game, you can parry them. The timing's just super tight. God, I'm just carving my way through enemies. I've come such a long way since that first encounter, where I had what seemed like a forced death. Although that was only because I didn't know at the time that I needed to focus once the enemies had gone ghost. I wondered if I were to go back there, if I could actually beat them all and avoid a death. Speaking of avoiding a death, oh no, come on, please don't end now. Okay. I am at my wit's end here. Oh, that was pretty bullshit. It was that dumb, I get paralyzed for no reason because of Daddy Dearest. Oh no. Did I get the bad end? I think I might have gotten the bad end.
Took him from me, did you? And I can't save Diane. Is that what you want me to believe? After all you've done to me? And to him? You're not a lie, but you're a liar! You crawled into me to confuse me and deceive me. But I know it's him. I know you have him. I'll give you my life. That's what you want, isn't it? My soul. Take it. I'll be a slave for you. I'll fight with you at Ragnarok. If you release it.
I learned the hard way to not be afraid of death, Senua. Because a life without loss is one without love. You turn your back on death, and all you can see is the shadow that it casts. The longer you hide from it, the longer the shadow grows until all you can see is darkness. When our time comes, we must look death in the eye and embrace it as a friend. Only then can we let go of our fear. And emerge from our darkness.
Never forget what it is like to see the world as a child, Senua. Every autumn leaf is like a work of art. Every rolling cloud a moving picture. Every day, a new story. We too emerge from this magic, like a wave from the ocean, only to return to the sea. Do not mourn the waves, the leaves, and the clouds. Even in darkness, the wonder and the beauty of this world never leaves us. It is always there, waiting to be seen again.
Oh no. Oh. It's the rocks. The darkness is back. The darkness is back. Wait. What is it? It feels... It's different. It feels... Is it okay?
This is where my story once began.
It's different.
And so it has to end here.
It's changed.
Because I cannot see further than this.
Follow us. We have another story to tell.
My friend, go with her. This now will be your story to witness. Good night.
I know it's hard to tell how mixed up you feel.
Well, that was Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, or Senua. I've heard both pronunciations in the game itself. Not the most consistent there. So, I'm not sure whether I would call that a good ending or a bad ending. I guess a good one since, well, for a while there it looked like she was gonna lose her mind. Senua did ultimately come to terms with her grief and the fact that her beloved Dillion isn't coming back. So yeah, it kind of confirms pretty firmly that everything was just happening in Senua's head. The darkness, hell, Dillion's soul, none of it was real. And everything that we experienced was her getting over her loss and dealing with the other hardships and trauma from her past. Especially now that Dillion, who previously acted as an emotional and mental anchor for her, was gone. Oh, interesting that one of the people, I'm assuming the professor is one of the people they got for making sure that all this stuff involving the psychology was accurate. Interesting that she's given a proper writing credit and not just is credited as like a helper. So, I really like that game. It definitely fell a little bit in quality towards the end. Mainly with the combat. The puzzles dropped a bit in quality, like they ended up repeating a lot of the earlier ones, like with the whole fixing bits of reality and the hunting for sigils. They really could have stood to introduce either a few more mechanics or use the previous ones in more interesting ways. As it was, they kind of rehashed it, but not to the extent that I thought it was too bad. The big issue was the combat. There was too much of it, and too much of it involved too few enemies. Like, if there had been the same amount of combat, but they had like 2 or 3 more enemy types, that would have been one thing. But it was just the same old enemies that you were used to fighting up till that point. And it resulted in the combat being, as I said, quite a slog. Now, I'm not saying they had to have more enemy types. Another thing they could have done was simply cut the combat towards the end of the game in half. Just having less of it overall, shorter fights. And it would have been not just a lot more bearable, but a lot more enjoyable. Like having that huge gauntlet of enemies that seemed endless during the Blood Lake segment, that was thematically fitting. Having it on that bridge right before the end, not so much. It really did just feel like padding, and the game definitely suffered for it. And that final battle, could I have done better there? Like, did I have to take that death, or could I have actually succeeded and achieved a different ending? Because it definitely seems like it would have been doable. I only died there because of that bullshit, oh, you're just kind of stunned, which means if you're already on your last legs, you're basically guaranteed to die because you can't avoid the next hit that's coming. But if I actually managed things a little bit better, and made sure to always have one of my focus charges available, I probably could have made it through that, assuming that it's not endless. I mean, again, that's kind of what a second playthrough is for. Or if I don't end up doing that, watching someone else play the game. But yeah, the game was definitely stronger near the start. I think the segment, Valravn segment, was overall the strongest. Valravn was probably the most fun enemy I had time fighting. And the puzzle segments were some of the best as well, some of the most involved. Why are you giving me the warning now? It seems kind of a bit late at this point. But yeah, early game was definitely stronger, later game still pretty solid with occasional highs. And the occasional troughs. If I were to give this game an overall score, I would probably give it an 8 or 9 out of 10. It's not perfect, it has issues. but for a game with AAA presentation, but no publisher backing them, it certainly was an impressive work. And it actually really does make me want to check out, what's its name? I can't remember the name of the studio now. Ninja Theory. It makes me want to check out their previous games since I've never played them much before. I think I said one of their previous games was Jade Empire. That's not it. It was actually Heavenly Sword. For some reason, whenever I think of Heavenly Sword, I want to call it Jade Empire. I have no idea why, but I want to do it. So yeah, sorry about that. If I remember, I'll probably make a correction way back then at the beginning when I actually get around to editing. Maybe with like a subtitle. Before I actually finish things off, I want to check out my trophies for this game. Mainly to see which ones I'm missing. So collect all the other trophies, that one will come automatically. That last one I picked up, the final battle, I want to see what its description is in particular. Where is it? Confront Hella, yeah. Notice how it just says confront and not beat. I get the feeling that maybe this hidden trophy is if you actually manage to survive at the end, and then there will end up being a slightly different ending. Stories from the North. Oh, okay, no, it has nothing to do that. Apparently, I missed a few of the lore stones throughout the game. While they're actually called lore stones, I don't think it ever mentioned that before. I was just calling them that because it was giving me lore and it was from stones, so it seemed like a fair enough thing to call it, and I guess the game agrees. Hey, sometimes simple names are the best. I thought I was pretty thorough with finding those, but I guess not, so I was under the impression that there were multiple endings, but given how there's no other trophies, I guess that's not the case, huh? Well, I've beat Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice then. Overall, I'm happy with the experience. And I do regret binging through it in one go a little bit. If only because I kind of ruined my sleep for this day. And it's gonna take a bit of work to get my sleeping schedule back on track. But it certainly was an experience, and it's one I'm not used to having, both playing a game for such a long period of time, and just what this game offers in general. So yeah, overall I'm pretty happy with how things turned out, even if I'm pretty much just a zombie at this point. Good stuff, Ninja Theory. I'm looking forward to whatever they produce next.